Some in this room may not know by my terrible Ukrainian accent and my American accent here, but I was actually born in Ukraine. Some of my family is still there. You know, the fact that this little girl that used to get chased by geese outside the bus stop of her dedushka's house is now sitting with the president of Ukraine is pretty surreal. So I'm honored to have you here at the Politico pub for this important conversation.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the invitation.
Mr. President, it has been a year since the Trump team began peace efforts. This year, though, has been the deadliest for Ukrainian civilians. It's been marked by the most severe attacks on the energy system, the complete absence of free U.S. aid. What progress do you see the Trump administration has made in resolving this war? Because from the outside, it does seem that we're where we were last year.
So, it's not simple, yes, to finish the war. More simple to start this war, what Putin did, because he wanted very much. And I hope so, and I think that President Trump, with his team, and I think so, that they want to stop this war in any case. Yes, but it's really not simple, because, you know, for us, it's not just swap of something. It's not swapping of interests or something more, and etc. For us, it's our life. Russians came and with such big hateness killed so many civilians, children, and you see now their attacks on energy, as you mentioned, on energy infrastructure, just killing our people, and you know, each day, you know, we are surviving, and I'm, you know, each day I speak with all energy companies, with ministers, with my people, and I speak, and all each day I give my condolences. You know, this is crazy war of Russians against just people, and that's why it's not simple to stop, because we can't just you know, stop because Russians don't want. And there are some signals from American side, from President Trump. They say, look, this is a time for compromises. You can make some steps forward. We made a lot of compromises. Putin and his friends, they are not in prison. This is the biggest compromise, what the world made already. And we stood from the very beginning and defending our sovereignty and our lives. And we just can't forget, you know, I think that everybody understands, we can't forget that they killed so many people. But we are ready, and when President Trump said, let's just do ceasefire, just, you know, frozen conflict, and etc., and I said, yes, it's difficult, a lot of questions to this idea, but, President, okay, we will support ceasefire, unconditional one.
Putin refused.
Yes, of course. Yeah, he will refuse. I mean, this today one reason, tomorrow another reason, and etc. We need pressure on him. And now I'm not just you know, theoretically say what we need. No, real pressure. And Putin will stop this war if real pressure be on him.
I mean, when talking about progress towards peace, do you think the president and his team have made substantial progress? Where do you think you would be on the path to peace without the United States? Further behind, further ahead, or where you are now?
Now, first of all, it's difficult without between us.
Just the
Ukraine, yeah, between all of us. It's a secret. Don't tell anybody. Yeah. So, be honest. Today, only Ukraine defending Europe. And today, only Europe gives money to Ukraine and helps Ukraine. Today, only United States can stop Putin. And today, only Putin wants this war to continue. And this is my position. That's why when you understand this way of Putin, or way of how he thinks, if he thinks, I don't know, maybe he made a decision at the very beginning and now just move through this idea. Yeah. So, and when you understand this infrastructure, that's why it's need. If only United States can stop Putin, that they have to do more pressure on him to stop him. Otherwise, he will not stop.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much talk about compromise and concessions that Ukraine needs to make. We'll talk about that, but is there any sense that the U.S. is successfully pressuring Putin, pressuring Russia to come to the table? Can you help us understand, are there conversations happening behind the scenes?
The conversation
that we don't
began already. Dash. You know that I mean this. So we had trilateral meetings. Yes, on technical level, not on the level of leaders, but our proposition was that we are ready to support the idea of Americans or the idea of anybody, I mean, to meet on the level of leaders and to speak about what we have to do, not what we are ready, what we have to do, because it's about people's lives of the people. That's why what we have to do to finish this war, to end this war. So it's trilateral meeting or on the level of leaders. And I think that what Americans did, what the team, Jared and Steve, what they did, the team of Trump, President Trump, so they moved Russians to trilateral meeting on the technical level. Sorry to my team, maybe they're here, they are friends, but I said technical level, so where is that? They're not here, so technical level is good. So, I mean this seriously. So we had such meetings, trilateral meetings, 2 of them in Abu Dhabi. Before this, we had meetings in Turkey, but it was not really in the same room with Americans and with decision makers. So now we have this, and the next meeting will be in Switzerland. This is where we are. We begin to work on security guarantees, document bilateral one with the United States, what we can get after this war will end, and from the United States, hope we can sign this document because it's ready. And we began to work on prosperity package, some documents, how to renovate Ukraine after the war. This is where we are.
Do you get the sense that Russia is taking this process seriously, or do you think they're playing games?
I don't think that they want to stop the war. I think that, but they can if in such circumstances, under pressure, it can be. That's why until there is no enough pressure, they play.
Do you think the U.S. is exerting more pressure on Russia or Ukraine at this point?
I think that they try to do both sides.
What do you think about that?
What I'm thinking? Too much people, what I'm thinking. With all respect, I mean, there are some thoughts which I have to save with me.
I know that the fate of the Donbass is one of the major sticking points in negotiations. My sources at the White House say it's unlikely that there would be a deal that keeps the entire Donbass in Ukraine. Have you accepted that as a likely outcome?
No, you know that this is a big mistake to allow aggressor to take something. It was a big mistake at the very beginning from 2014. I can tell you it was even before when it was attack and occupation part of Georgia, and even before when it was occupation of Chechnya and destroying totally and killing 1 million people killed and wounded. So, I mean, so many mistakes. And that's why now I don't want to be the president who will make the same mistakes, what made people, my predecessors and not predecessors. I'm not just speaking about Ukraine. I'm not speaking about, I mean, this presidents in Ukraine. I'm speaking about the leaders of different countries which made possibility to allow strong, aggressive country like Russia to come to their territory, to take this territory without battle. Yes, because you can't, I mean, stop Putin with your kisses or with something like that, with flowers, I don't know. I never did it. So that's why I'm not feeling that is right way. My suggestion to everybody not to do it with Putin. Otherwise, it will be first step. Then in 5 years, he will renovate his military and he will renovate and increase his soldiers, his army trained well. Because now he lost a lot of well-trained people. You know that he loses now 30, 35 people per month. Can you imagine in 21st century? Can you imagine 35,000 of people he loses each month? I'm not sure that he knows about it.
But, Mr. President,
That's why we can't just withdraw.
But you said
from our
earlier
territory.
that the only power that can stop Putin is the United States. And in the mind of the president and all of his advisors in the White House, they believe that there is going to have to be a deal where some of that territory is given over to Russia.
I think we think that maybe a lot of people think that he decided to divide Ukraine part after part. The first one was in 2014 when he occupied Crimea and big part of Donetsk and Lugansk regions. The second part, what he wanted to occupy this time, what we defended, and then we pushed back him after Kiev operation and then Kharkiv operation. And yes, but I think that now this is the goal for him to occupy all the eastern part of Ukraine. But first goal is Donbass, totally Donetsk region. That's why he is trying to push this narrative that if Ukrainians will withdraw by themselves, by their will, yes, so he will stop this war and etc. But this is just the second point. And then he will need, and he really needs, because he lost 1.5 million people. I mean, difficulty wounded, if I'm right. I'm not sure that in English difficulty, I mean, yeah, it's, how to say it?
Severely wounded.
And also killed. Yeah, so together, that's why he lost a lot. He needs time, he needs money, he needs to be out of sanctions, he needs to increase the number of his soldiers, he needs army 2.5 million, something about this, not less, and then to occupy us, to come and occupy us. This is the goal. That's why we can't give him this.
Do you think that President Trump and the White House understand that? Because in my conversations with them, they don't see it the same way.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, really. I don't know. I tried to explain, and we worked together, and I'm thankful for the time what Steve and Jared gave to my team, and they worked a lot of hours. I hope that at the end we will finish this war and we will have good result, the peace for Ukraine, but it has to be fair, real freedom, real democracy, real life, not depending on Russia in any way, you know, from cultural to energy. So, and if we will have it, so I hope so. The question is when we will have it. But I hope that really American side wants it. But if they understand all these details, I don't know. I think it's not simple. What I see, that they give more signals that Ukraine has to make compromises and not Russia. And I think that this is not right position because, and of course it's more simple.
But does that put you in a tough spot because
What I have tough, what?
does that put you in a difficult position because it is ultimately the United States that has the most power in this situation, right? As you said earlier.
Sometimes I say to myself that I'm not in a difficult position. My people, our nation, the Ukrainians, they in a difficult position, but they are very strong people. They're in a very difficult position. Me, I think Putin also in a difficult position because I'm I can speak with you and shake hands, and I don't afraid, and I want to be free, and I want to change after politics, after everything. I want, I want to.
And you're here.
Yes, I'm here, you see? Can you imagine? So I'm a free person. And I think that, and I'm younger than Putin, No, believe me, this is important. He doesn't have too much time, not too much time. Yes, God bless not too much time.
The conversation on territory and security, that can sometimes feel circular. Trump doesn't want to finalize security guarantees until an agreement on territory is reached, but you don't want to agree on territory before you can get those security guarantees. No. How do you solve that?
We didn't solve it yet, yes. Because I think that...
That's the big impasse.
Yeah, no, but I think that the question let's speak about the order first. Yes. What has
I guess
to come,
that's the question about the order, because that seems to be one of the sticking points.
I will tell you that what I think, that when you want to have, first, when you want, it doesn't mean that we will agree. Just let's start from this. When you want to have some compromises from people which are under attacks, which are not aggressors, and when you want to do it, what you give them, they don't trust anybody. They don't trust anybody, because we had Budapest Memorandum. That was just security guarantees. We gave nuclear weapon, and and other different weapons, and a lot of jets, and etc., dozens of jets. And yes, we gave it, and we've got security guarantees that our sovereignty will be our, and we will have independence. At the end, we don't have those weapons, and we don't have security guarantees, because Russia came and nobody attacked Russia. Nobody saved our independence. It's true? Yes, it's true. That's why it's understandable why people don't trust, because they are not in fantasy life, they are realistic, and they lost their families and their houses and their way of life. That's why people have to see what security guarantees will be. What if Russia will come? And a lot of them, believe me, that a lot of them think not what if they will come. They think when they come again, because they are sure that Russians will come again. And they just say, no, we will not run away. We just want to hear, what does it mean? What is the price? What does it mean, security guarantees from the world leader, the United States of America? Strong leader. And our American friend, they prepared security guarantees, but they said, look, first, swap the territories or something like that, and then security guarantees. So that's why I think first security guarantees. Second, it doesn't mean that we will give our territories, because there's different questions. Security guarantees, and we are ready for compromise, but we are ready for what kind of compromise? Not for the compromise what will give Russia to renovate quickly and come again and occupy us. So this is an important thing. This is where we see, how we see priorities. But I think in any way that security guarantees will work only after Congress will vote. So what to be afraid of? I don't understand. So we will sign with leaders, we will sign security guarantees for Ukraine. It's a great signal for people that, look, America will help you, will support. Europeans will be together with you. If Russia will come again, this is a great signal. And then speak with Ukrainians what you are ready to do. And this is the second point.
So you are calling on Congress to act as well?
Yes, that's why I said, but in any way, the security guarantees, it's written in 20 points plan, in other documents, written that security guarantees will work only after Congress will vote and only when the war will end. So what to be afraid to do it in this order, to help people to trust again.
So what have you heard from the Trump administration about why they're not comfortable with that
No,
border?
they want, I understood they want to do everything together.
All at once.
Yes, but the question, what does it mean all?
Well, the president passed the one big beautiful bill. He likes things in one in one big package.
I'm not sure that, it will work. I don't know, maybe it will be this way. I don't know, we will see. We
I
will
think
see.
your
The
shrug.
que-
I think your shrug says.
The question of
says a lot.
sense, not to do something immediately with salute and etc. and everybody's applauding. It's about people's lives.
Yeah.
It's about our lives. We don't want to applaud Putin. I don't want to applaud him. Great. This is the victory. For whom? People who lost the child. It's not the question of territory. It's not the question of anything because the person lost a child. They don't want to applaud Putin in any way. In any way, never. I think this is understandable. That's why I thought that we need to choose right way to find a way how to finish this war, not to lose moral of these people, because there are a lot of people who have only moral, level, and that's it, because they lost a lot of things. And a lot of people who love their country, just their house in Ukraine, and they didn't run away, and they live under all these shaheeds, thousands of missiles. And what have I to say to them? Look, that's a great idea. Let's withdraw from your flats, from the eastern part. There, 200,000 live there in this people. 200,000 now live, much more during the peacetime. But now 200,000, I have to come to them, to each apartment, knock and say, look, great idea. Forget your house, forget everything, your relatives, everything. Go out from your house, because this is the great idea between big bosses. The war will stop.
You read my mind, because my next question was actually about that. My family lives in the Donbass in Luhansk, and they didn't leave. They've been there. My grandmother, her whole life is there. She refused to go.
She has to go to our part, which we control.
Well, the complicated story there is, it is more complicated than I think some people in the West realize, because where my grandmother is, they've been under occupation since 2014, and the full-scale war has made life even more difficult there. What is your message to the people of Luhansk and to people in Donetsk, in those areas that are, on the edge of occupation, where they don't know, will they be in Russia or will they be in Ukraine?
This is a long dialogue, really. I'm not sure that...
we have the time.
Not too much, 16 minutes. No, it's very difficult to, it's not about lands, it's about, are you Ukrainians or not? So before 2014, we lived in one big country, and we realized that when Russians occupied it, partially people stayed there until now because of different reasons. I don't want to discuss reasons, really different reasons. But the question is to them, if they still there and they didn't go to the territory which control real Ukraine, which are under our control.
Which is not occupied. Yes.
Which is not occupied. Why they didn't come? If they couldn't, it's one reason. But the most important, there are people on the temporary occupied territories, and they really Ukrainians. Not about nationality and not about citizenship, that they really in their heart, in their brains, and etc. It's very difficult for them. I know there are some teachers, that they come to the schools and they have a lot of problems because they tried to give real information to the children, real history of Ukraine, not changed.
There is
by
very
Russians.
Little true information in that
True.
region. It's very difficult.
It's true. What to say in any way, all these territories It's a territory of Ukraine, of Ukrainian people, because the history is there, because a lot of talented people been born there and live there. All these territories are in books, in stories, in music, in songs. You can't just clean it. You can't. Even if all the Russians will want it, they can't do it.
Here in Munich, I was here last year, and Ukraine was really the dominant subject. This year, the US is talking about occupying or seizing Greenland. There's a regime change in Venezuela. There's possible strikes coming on Iran. There's a lot of conversation about the transatlantic alliance here. Do you worry that Ukraine is fading from the American consciousness?
I have to worry in any way. We need to focus on Ukraine, not because of other reasons and other wars are not important. No, everything is important. We need not to have wars because it's about casualties, it's about losses. Everything is important, but I understand when we lose focus on Ukraine, it was not only once, now we had it during all these years of the war, but when we lose support, we'll lose focus, we'll lose initiative, geopolitical initiative political. For example, we had communications with Americans each day, or you have it once a week, because there are some other questions.
Has the communication gone down?
It's good that we know their phone numbers.
Understood.
Yeah.
We
never sleep.
You know, President Trump doesn't do much sleeping either. I'm sure you know how to.
Because of us.
You're keeping
not
him
of
up
course,
at night.
not of course, yeah. But he wants sometimes to speak early in the morning. It's true.
Or late at night. I've been on phone calls with him at very odd hours.
We have different early mornings. Yes.
Different time zones.
Yes.
The tension between the U.S. and European allies has flared recently, especially over the fight over Greenland. That has nothing to do with you, but does that sort of tension between the U.S. and the EU hurt the Ukrainian cause?
For us, of course, it's very important not to lose this unity. Sometimes we even can't recognize all the details, what we can lose because of this, not very close relations between the United States and Europe. That's why we tried from the very beginning to involve Europe to our communications with Americans, and also to involve Americans and to all our negotiations with Europeans. We need Americans very much. Without Americans, Europe doesn't have such strong support. But as I said at the very beginning, it's true, but I'm very thankful to Europe because they are really biggest donators, and they gave us a lot of money to support us. Without this help, it unbelievably to stay so long. But I can give you one example. The NATO secretary was here, before me.
Mark Rutte was here, yes, you all saw.
Yeah. So, and secretary, for example, he is achieving the Pearl program. The program, it's the program we can use to buy air defense for us. For example, PAC-3 air defense missiles, we use it against destroying ballistic missiles, which Russia attack us each day. And without Pearl, we can't be saved. This is very simple. And we can't find PAC-3 missiles in Europe. That's why we need this unity. Europe helps to find money for this, and America gives this weapon. And there are such examples. We have them each day, a lot of them. That's why we need this unity. By the way, Russia really fights against this unity. They try to destroy. They try to not to respect Europeans. It's true.
Yeah, you said that Putin is not afraid of Europe. And you know, last year, a senior White House official told me that the White House, quote, doesn't really care about the Europeans' input on a peace deal. So I wonder, what does that mean to you about Europe's ability to have a substantial impact on the war and on peace talks?
Putin really doesn't respect Europe, but it's in his interests. He tried to divide Europe, and sometimes he was successful, but not totally. And it's great that Europe now in a good shape. And but he found some representatives of EU who began to fight against the unity in Europe. So it's, you know, internal blowings. Yes, but this is what Putin wants very much, because he tried to take off sanctions and take off frozen assets back to him. For this, he doesn't need unity, and he doesn't need strong Europe. That's it. And he tried to decrease the help for Ukraine. At the very beginning of new administration, as you remember, that was the signal to frozen intelligence and some missiles, air defense to us. And then we defreeze it. We found a way and how to manage it. We found the dialogue between me and President Trump. And then we involved Europe and found a way how to work together. This is the way how we can stop Putin.
So what is your message to European leaders about what they can do better to stand up to Putin?
They do a lot of good things, and they help a lot. Sometimes they need not to lose unity. The main message for Europeans, not to lose unity. Everything else they have.
President Trump told me in December that he wants to see Ukraine hold elections soon. And actually, he just reiterated that message today. He said earlier to reporters, saying to you, Mr. President, that you have to, quote, get moving. What's your response?
He said something to me?
Today, yeah. Reporters asked about elections in Ukraine.
And what he said about elections?
And he said that elections need to get moving, that you need to get moving on holding elections in Ukraine.
Great idea. No, yes, I'm happy to do it as quick as possible. Why it's great? Because we can do it when the war stops. It means that if we can do it as soon as possible, it means that the war will end as soon as possible. And I hope that the President of the United States will do the best for this. He can, really.
So to be clear, you will not consider holding elections until the war is over?
No, if it's possible, we need security for this. We need ceasefire for this. I mean, this.
So maybe not necessarily an end to the war, but a ceasefire or
changing
security
the law
guarantee.
in such circumstances. Changing the law, we need to change the law. Our parliament can do. I hope so. But you know that it's interesting that you know that 90% against elections now. 90% of Ukraine. If it's interesting for somebody what Ukrainians think, though 90% are against because they understand that it's terrible how to do it now, how to do elections during the war, under attacks. It's terrible how our soldiers will vote, and they are defended. They have to vote. We have to hear them. It's terrible how 8 million people which are abroad will vote, but they have to choose the president. And the president, the parliament, and local elections, a lot of different elections. So I agree if we can make elections, it means that we will have normal security situation. Maybe not normal, but as I said, ceasefire. So if President Trump, and I think that he can, if President Trump will give me pushing Putin ceasefire for 2-3 months, we will do elections.
How do you want to see the president pressure Putin? In your dream world, if you could ask the president one wish.
I think so. He has to give us security guarantees, strong security guarantees without dialogue with Putin, because it's security guarantees of President of the United States,
you
not
think
of
that
Russia.
will put pressure on Putin to give you security guarantees?
I think 3 steps.
Okay.
Give us security guarantees, very strong. Then give us the package of reconstruction of Ukraine. It's the second step that we will renovate. It's mean that the peace will come. And the third point, to call Putin and say, look, you have to stop where you now. we have to freeze the conflict now, and then we will meet trilaterally on the level of leaders, and we will manage how to finish this war. But we will do it only in diplomatic way. After my phone call, the ceasefire has to come, and people have stopped to die. This, what President Trump can do. It's not my suggestion to him. He is the President of the United States. I can't suggest him. Maybe he can find another way, and maybe he will be right. But I think that he has to say it. But if not, if Putin will say no, yeah, President Trump has to give us everything what we need to save us and to defend us and to stay strong. But I think that we need to finish the war, not to continue, this war, not to continue this fighting. That's why I think he can do it. Total sanctions. It's been total. If it's on energy, can you imagine? Yes, President Trump made, by the way, strong steps. We are thankful to him on Lukoil. He put sanctions on Lukoil. He can put on all their energy, on nuclear energy. He can give this message to Europeans. Europeans made a lot, but didn't put still sanctions on nuclear energy of Russians, on Rosatom, on people, on their relatives, on their children, which live in Europe, which live in the United States, which study in the universities of Europe, which have real estate in the United States. So they have a lot of real estate. They have children, relatives everywhere. Fuck away to Russia. Go home. You don't respect anybody in the United States. You don't respect rules. You don't respect democracy. You don't respect Ukraine, Europe, etc. Go home. Why it's not right? So I think, to do what he can do. I think so.
The president also told me last year that he believes Russia has the upper hand, that Russia is winning this war. What's your response?
I'm sitting here. Our army, heroic people. We have independent country. We have sovereignty. We are in a very difficult position. But Russia is not winning. They're losing dozens of thousands each month. And as I said, I think at the very beginning of our conversation, I'm not sure that somebody is winning during the war. I'm not sure, because so many losses. Russia is not winning. And I think that's only crazy people who likes, so many death people, dead people, so many losses. Only they think about how to win, how to occupy everything. What's the price of this victory?
Secretary of State Marco Rubio is going to take the stage tomorrow, just before you. What do you hope to hear from him?
What he will tell.
That's what everyone's asking.
No, I don't know. We will see. It's up to him.
A year from now, if we are sitting here again, if I have the honor of interviewing you again.
We have 1 minute, by the way. Think about the most important question.
This actually is my final question. I timed it perfectly. Come on, I'm a professional.
Sorry. Sorry.
A year from now, we're sitting here again. What is the conversation about? In 1 year. What are we talking about in 1 year? What do you hope we will be talking about in 1 year? And are you still the leader of Ukraine? Crystal ball.
Really difficult question. I don't know. It's difficult during the war. Know that what you will do not next year, what you will do tomorrow. Each day, it's alive, and that's why we think how to finish this war. And I hope that we will have peace, that all our people will again back to normal life, and I hope that we will have some time for my children. I'm not sure that my children want me in 1 year. See here.
Maybe you're here telling stories about your kids instead of talking about the war.
Yeah, I will. No, I think that our children have to understand what this war means for us and why we defended their future. And I think that children, not be afraid, be honest with children. And I'm not sure that our children are small. I think they are already adults because, for example, my son his age is all this war. I mean, he is 13 years old. So this war is almost 13 years from the first 2014 occupation. So I think that they know a lot about this war, but they need just time with their parents. Yes, and I think this is the most important. And I hope we will speak with you about how to think about the peacetime for Ukraine, and not only for Ukraine, by the way. Really, this is Munich conference, and not only Putin. There are some other crazy guys in the world, and I hope that we will speak about peace not only in Ukraine. In 1 year.
Well, maybe instead you'll be calling me from a beach in Odessa with...
Come to Odessa. It's a great city. Very strong city, by the way. Russians always said that it's a Russian city. Now, if they will come to Odessa, they will feel the love to Russians. Yeah, that's real. Yeah.
Well, maybe you'll be calling in on Skype or something with your children in Odessa, having a vacation, instead of being here at the Munich Security Conference talking about the war. Дуже дякую. Thank you so much.
Дуже. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.